Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
No one's in?
What can I ask you one time? What are you gonna do with those?
Bad boys.
When are you gonna eat them?
You don't eat them.
When are you gonna eat them?
You
When
don't.
are you gonna eat them?
All right. You don't eat them. You don't eat Zin.
When are you gonna suck on my Zin?
You put them in your mouth and enjoy
Enjoy the what?
I'm not ready for it. I don't know.
You're not ready for another Zin, or you're not ready for this episode?
No, I'm not ready for another Zin. Zin was the weirdest habit I ever didn't have.
It is amazing. So before we get into your habits,
Yeah.
let's turn the tavern on, and then let's have a cocktail to talk about. I'll concur this. When you said, "Hey, I want to buy some Zin," it threw me for a loop. Like, where did that come from? It's funny to me. But
Well, look at peer pressure's a bitch. And when guys like Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura on their podcast just throwing them in their mouth,
peer pressure.
I thought they made you funny. I thought they made you funny. They don't make you funny.
No.
Anyway,
I concur they don't.
But I really thought, based on my addictive personality, that I'm not.
Can I step back?
Yeah. No, you're right against the wall.
They made you hilarious because I laughed my ass off when you were getting sick on them.
Yeah. Okay. I get that part, but they didn't. Anyway, the first one was great. The first one. And I think, yeah, anyway, I don't want to talk about Zin. Welcome back to another. Did I already do that? Welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Dimples and the Beard. Guess who's back?
Edition. No, fuck Zin.
Brande Roderick. I don't even know how many.
Third time.
Yeah, I know. It's our third timer.
Oh,
Victoria Fuller, Josh Potter, Chase O'Donnell.
Yeah. Good. I didn't
Brande
think of that
Roderick.
Yeah.
Joining the 3-time club. Back to talk about. We talked about it with her a year ago.
About a great movie that she was writing, directing, and she just wrapped. Filming the movie that she was so passionate about that she wrote and she directed for her first time, starred in, and produced. So now it's out.
Took it to all the festivals.
Waited for the right one. And
obviously it went well there because she sold it to some of the streamers. It's out and available, and it's fantastic.
Fandango streaming, Amazon Prime,
YouTube.
And YouTube.
I watched it on YouTube.
Worth every penny. Cheap pennies.
And the fact that Brande Roderick, I don't remember but Playmate of the Year 2000. The fact that beautiful woman has that devious of a mind.
Can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to get into it.
So put out this movie. Shocked me. She warned us. We talked to her a year ago and she warned us. She said, guys, you're going to be
dead.
You are not going to expect what you get. And I certainly.
Are you like me where I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I've seen it all.
I've
seen it all. Nothing.
And then you watch the movie.
There was a few times in the movie where I went, oh, I don't want that to happen to me.
Well, obviously, but there are times I'm like, this came from her.
That too.
That's where I'm astounded, and I love it. And I brought it to Calista this afternoon. I'm like, she doesn't know Brande because of her age. Oh, she looks so sweet, so innocent. I'm like, you've got to watch her horror movie. She wrote this, and she's like, she likes horror. Well, I wonder what her favorite horror movies are. Then we talked about it. So yeah, when you see her, that's a devious mind. I love it.
Devious mind. I know. And it's always dark. Cool. Like when you look at a guy like Damon Leone and Terrifier, you're like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense. But you look at Brande Roderick and you're like, no, she's gonna write a movie like The Notebook or something, right? Like
or a horror movie that you're gonna be like, that horror movie you just wrote, I laughed through it all. I was like, whatever.
She wrote a horror movie.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Did we mention the name Wineville?
Wineville. We just did twice. So welcome back, Brande Roderick. You are now the fourth person who has done the podcast 3 times. So welcome to the illustrious 3-time club.
Yes.
And
For good reason.
it's been we've taken a little bit of a journey with you. The first time we talked to you was obviously kind of Playboy dominated, but Wineville was kind of very far in the back burner. And then about a year ago, we had you on, and Wineville was, I think, just wrapping up the shooting, starting to get it to festivals and do all that stuff. And now it is out there in the world for people to see. And you've gotten numerous 10-star ratings. It's over 8.5 on IMDb, 8.6. It's doing very well. We both watched it and loved it.
Well, that's the big thing, is we were able to see it now.
Yes.
And now we can talk about it.
And we cannot believe that this movie came out of that beautiful head of yours, because you warned us. You warned us that it was a little,
sick and demented. It's sick and demented. It's okay. You can say it. I am sick and demented. It is what it is. You know, I come from a horror film family, maniac, crazy people. And the things that my parents did to me when I was little with horror films. I mean, my mom had me watch The Exorcist at 6 years old. I don't know if I told you guys this the last time.
You did, and it's
6 years
insane.
old was my first movie into horror, was The Exorcist with my mom. And then growing up, my dad would do things like, do you guys remember Rabid?
Yes.
The movie, it was in the late, it was in I think 1977.
David Cronenberg.
Yeah, so late 70s, you know, I'm a little kid, I'm probably like 9 watching Rabid. I get up down our long dark hallway to go to the bathroom. As I'm coming out, all of a sudden this arm reaches from the ground and grabs my leg, and I look down and this guy's there, foaming mouth, biting my ankle, as my dad went and put a bunch of toothpaste and got his mouth foaming to scare the shit out of me.
Oh my God.
I love your dad.
Yeah, so it was constant. So there was another time my brother and I were watching TV, and all of a sudden this crazy man comes barging through the door with a stocking over his head and a knife, you know, pretending like, and we're like, oh my God. So my dad would do crazy stuff like this. When I was a kid, all the little girls, you know, had like, you know, princess parties, rainbow bright parties, you know, all that kind of stuff, but not me. The kids would come to my house and we would watch a scary movie like Sleepaway Camp. And then we'd go out in a tent to go to sleep. And lo and behold, throughout the night, my dad would come out and scare the shit out of everybody, banging on the tent, making noises, doing his flashlight, and all the girls would like call their moms, come pick me up. These people are weird.
So you had one sleepover and never again.
We did it every year. So by that point, my friends knew, but every year we did the same thing.
Oh, fun.
But anyway, so that just kind of gives you a little bit of insight into why my mind goes to certain places, because ever since I was a tiny child, I was watching Linda Blair taking a cross, stabbing her vagina, saying F me over and over again at 6 years old. So I really got, you know, these crazy things in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they grew from there. Wow.
Yes, yes, as you know.
we do. And we wow. As he mentioned, we both got together and went, you warned us, we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And
you know what?
we applaud you for that, because
Thank you.
for horror fans like us to be taken back and going, oh, that takes a lot.
Well, and that was my main goal is, you want to shock people, but I wanted to shock people in a way that they weren't expecting. Like all my plot twists, you know, I wanted people to leave the theater or leave watching the movie saying, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And so far with what you just said, like that's what everybody's getting, that feeling. And that's exactly what I wanted, because when I'm watching a movie, the whole time I'm always trying to figure out who did it, who's the killer. And it's constant. And I usually always figure it out. And I didn't want anybody to figure it out. So that was my goal. And I'm glad that I was able to accomplish that.
Well, you were able to accomplish that times two, because as we were talking at one point in the movie, as we're talking about your movie, we went different ways.
Yeah.
On where we thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
So you accomplished that twice.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
twofold, whatever you want to call it. So
Yes.
you accomplished
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I liked about it, is that the twists kept coming.
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't like once the twist was there, you were like, okay, now the movie ends. I was guessing until the very end, and there was some of the, you know, characters that don't make it, you know, I was surprised by, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there was no cliche to it, you know, which I really
Mhm.
enjoyed.
Yeah. It's somewhat of a Greek tragedy. You know, it's not your
Mm.
typical slasher film, right? It's not like, oh, there's 20 kills, slasher, slash, slash. You know, we wanted to have like a real plot, real story,
Mhm.
real people, real relationships, like, and just be really character driven. And throughout the movie, you can see why these people are the way they are and why they're so messed up
Yeah.
because of, you know, with the flashbacks and everything.
And I want to compliment you on that. As the story went, your flashbacks, that's the wine.
Your flashbacks?
Kept bringing, you know, they kept bringing the story even to light even more.
Yeah.
And it made more sense. So the way you intertwine them
Yeah.
is really, really free. And I say that as a first time director. That's why I keep
Yeah.
kind of bringing that up.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Well, the flashbacks Richard wrote into the story, the writer, but for me, it was really important. I wanted to create the feeling of the projector, and I had to have that grit projector feeling because it was, you know, late 50s, you know, we were trying to bring it back. And I had just recently seen Sinister, which I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you haven't, you have to see it, with Ethan Hawke. It is fantastic. It is so scary. So anytime, you know, in certain movies you hear that projector going, like I wanted that kind of eerie feeling. So for me, it had to be flashing. It had to be it had to be with that projector.
Well, you
I wanted
accomplished it,
that
and that's
feel.
the great feel
Yeah.
of the 70s movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're set in the 70s, and you had just a bevy of beautiful vehicles. When you do a low budget, mid-budget movie like that, how do you come up with, do you find people to donate the cars and stuff for the movie?
So we got lucky with the cars. So my boyfriend had the convertible red Firebird
Okay.
that we pulled up in.
Beautiful.
Richard, my writer and producer, Richard Shankman, had the white Corvette that the girl was driving, the convertible.
Mhm.
And then I have a friend here in Temecula that gave me to use. He had that Oldsmobile that the attorney was driving.
Oh, okay.
The truck that Joe drove was the winery owner's truck. The one car I did have to rent was the sheriff's truck. But
Okay.
that was the one and only car I had to rent.
Wow.
That's
That it
cool.
was just all everybody we knew just pulling together.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
we talked about it, and I went, okay, well, in California, they're going to have the beautiful convertible cars. Not that they were all convertibles, but
Yeah.
that's where you have the beautiful cars.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And that
true.
opening scene,
Yeah.
was great, and the music was perfect.
Yeah,
The way you introduce, just here's my movie, and then
Yeah.
the good music and the beautiful
Yeah.
girl going along. Was that your inspiration?
Yeah. So I really love, like, well, our composer was 100% amazing. I mean, he and his wife did all the strings, all the music themselves. They didn't do it from some synthesizer or the computer like everybody does nowadays. They actually played the instruments themselves.
Wow.
So for me, that scene, I wanted that eerie, like piano, Halloween type feel. So, you know, when it's kind of scanning down on the person, I really wanted that eerie feeling of that 70s vibe with that piano. Like I wanted that old school piano vibe
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie.
Which you did, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that Peter
Yes.
Davison, right?
Yep.
He did it. He did throughout the movie, and I was listening to that, and I love shit like that. He did a great job with no over the top, you know, the kind of the mellow when it needed to be mellow, just to gets
Yep.
you in there. He did
He
a great
did
job.
such a great job. There were so many people that like review critics that were like, he should, if they should have like these awards for these composers in these film festivals, because he
Mhm.
should be winning awards. And they even said he should do a soundtrack, which he did. I saw it on Amazon that you can buy his soundtrack for this movie.
Oh, nice.
But
Okay.
yeah, no, he did a fantastic
And
job.
music is just for horror movies. Music is just
It's
so
so
important.
much.
Yeah, it's so sets the
If you
mood
have
and
shitty music, it can ruin a movie.
yeah.
It truly can. I did a kind of a mystery movie at one point, and the person that did the music made it like this ding, 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 like this weird, like happy music. I'm like, this is a murder mystery. Like, what is going on? Like, this is the weirdest music. And it just kind of ruined it for me. So it really makes a huge difference. I mean,
Yeah.
music, I learned so much. I mean, music, sound, color, obviously editing. I mean, there's so much that goes into a film that really can make or break it. If you have one of those elements that aren't right, it could ruin everything.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's like
So
a
with knowing
science.
that, and you
Mhm.
having, I mean, you weren't just hired to be an actress. You wrote it, you directed it, which is huge. That this is on your shoulders. I mean,
Yeah.
how much the pressure of that? How did you get through that?
Yeah. Well, it is a lot of pressure. It
Yeah,
still is a lot of pressure. Um,
that's right.
you
It's
gotta
not
get
even
people
done
to
yet.
watch it. But on set, it was really difficult. It was hard. It was hard work, I'll say. Not difficult, but a lot of hard work. There were a lot of obstacles. We had to pivot a lot. Things would happen. I had to put out a lot of fires. This was during, we still had restrictions with SAG and COVID. So we had to go through so many hoops with that. For example, on our first day of shooting, we have to test everybody, and lo and behold, our costumer, our wardrobe stylist, has COVID. So this is day one, and obviously this is not some modern day film where you just run on down to Walmart and get some clothes. This
Yeah.
is like 70s stuff.
Right.
So that was rough. I had to hurry up and find somebody to get down there that day. On this is day one. Another day, one of the set designers sprayed spray paint in her eye, had to go to the emergency room.
Oh,
I mean, there's just was always something,
Sure.
So running around doing all this stuff, and I say that I loved it, even though it's like such hard work, you love it. It's
yeah.
kind of like probably what you guys do, is it hard work to do this and set up everything and edit it and get it out, and and you have to do all this stuff, but then you enjoy it
Yeah.
too, right? You're enjoying what you're doing right now. So when you do something that you love, yes, it's freaking hard work, but when you love it, it doesn't matter. You'll do it 10 times over, right?
Absolutely.
And when and no matter what shows up, you don't ever decide I'm going to give up. You find a way. You find a way.
You find a way. Exactly.
So going back to the first day of this thing and your costume designer, which the 70s,
Yeah.
did you have any say in the outfits? Because there were some cool outfits and there were some risque outfits.
Oh yeah, 100%. I had a say in everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my word on everything. She would bring the options, and I would say I think I liked all her options. I don't think I ever didn't like something. Yeah. Yeah. When you say risque, are you talking about the first day with the vest?
Yeah, I am.
Oh yeah.
Mom gets out of the bed.
Listen, Tess was moved to Vegas when she was 15. She was probably a stripper. You know what I mean? Like, that's her normal garb. It's okay. She's a little bit, I'm sure she wasn't the most buttoned up kind of girl, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
And playing off that, one of the things that I loved throughout the movie was, and one of my favorite characters was Aunt Margaret. And then when she went to the Triller with Joe. I'm not
Yeah.
giving it away. She was so honest and about, how you showed up and
Oh, yeah.
from Vegas, what, they don't sell bras in Vegas? I mean, she
Yeah.
was so amazing.
I
The
know.
dialogue that she did throughout the movie is what
Yeah.
I loved. One of the things.
Yeah. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we went in to cast everybody, and all the audition tapes, everyone was so good. But when hers came across, we were like, oh my gosh, that's Aunt Margaret. But the
Mhm.
problem was, and you'll see it if you guys get the DVD, because we have the actor auditions in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
In real life, she's a young, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, holy shit, we love her. She's so good. So we called our hair and makeup people, said, can you make this woman look old and not so attractive? And they're like, yeah, we could do it. So, and she just turned out, she just was Aunt Margaret. Like, I feel like nobody else could have played that role. She was so good.
Yeah.
But we were worried because she is a younger, really beautiful woman in real life.
Well, your entire cast was fantastic. I said to him, the first thing I said to him was,
Yeah.
I think the star, the shining moment for me was your son. He was brilliant. He was so good. And I think you
Oh.
told us that he doesn't really have much desire to do any more with it. And I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
sucks, because he was very good.
Hopefully he gets the bug.
It is sad because I'm not kidding when everybody tells me they're like, he's so good. And
Yeah.
most directors don't like to work with kids because they're a pain in the ass or they're not good. And everyone's like, he was really good.
Yeah.
So it is kind of sad to, waste the talent. But I mean, you know what? I don't know that I would want him to go down this road anyway.
Sure.
It's tough. It is a tough road, but he is really good. He is really natural. So if he ever does want to get back into it, he
Okay,
can.
so you had mentioned that a year ago, so he hasn't changed his mind. Like from maybe
Well,
the attention now that's coming with the release of the movie, that he maybe want to do some more.
you know what? It's funny because he loved, walking the red carpet at the premiere,
Yeah.
and taking pictures with the other actresses, But we even had Tim Sullivan, who is an amazing director, writer, producer, and he's like, Keaton, I'm gonna get you a movie. You want a movie? And I got an agent for you or whatever. And he said the same thing to him. He's like, well, I don't want an audition, but if you or any of your friends, have any movies you want me to do, I'll do it. So
Wow.
he's down for like doing it, but he just doesn't want to spend the time that you need to audition and do all that stuff, which I totally get. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes away from
Yeah.
football. He loves football, and that's his main thing. He loves being a linebacker. So,
Well, and he's got his life ahead of him to act once it
yeah,
comes out. But
Yeah.
I saw some pictures of him. He's a year older. He's a year
He's
more
more than that.
mature, and he's
2 years,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see him. I
He
can
was
see him going on.
12. He was 12 when we shot the movie, and now he's 14. I'm sure. Did you see those pictures of us on the red carpet?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
see how different he looks,
Yeah,
right?
I do. Yes.
Yep.
I could see him with how natural he was and how he's
Mhm.
grown. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would be good for a lot of roles.
I know. He's like in that, like how Stranger Things was in the beginning, how young they were,
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
he could totally do any of that type of stuff, but
100%.
oh well.
Yeah. If you don't love it, it's that's the thing. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you do. You love
But
acting.
I do.
You do, and you love the gore stuff. So that's cool. Do you
Yeah.
we're not going to stray too much from it, but are you any other horror movies brewing in your mind that you're waiting for the next thing before we?
Well, I mean, I have like my idea book here with all kinds of stories
Dark things?
and movie ideas. And that's the problem because I love comedy. And I was thinking after this dark movie, I'm going to do a comedy. Like I love it. But everything in my head is like so demented. I come up with these great like thriller horror stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think because I'm just not afraid to censor myself, I'm not afraid to go there, I guess, as you guys both know after seeing the movie.
Yes. Yes.
So I have all these great ideas for thriller horror. So once Wineville, I get this, out and going, then I'm going to really figure out, am I going to go back and do another thriller horror, or do I do comedy? And the only reason why I was really pushing for comedy, because right now in our world today, everything is so dark and everybody's so angry, and with everything that's going on, I was like, we need to bring back like the fun comedies, like the old schools and the Starsky and Hutches, and
Yes.
the grown-ups, and all those fun comedies, right? That weren't afraid to
Laugh at.
what's the not embarrass people, but where they weren't afraid to offend people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to get back to real comedy, and I loved that type of comedy and that genre, and Will Ferrell and all of them, So I don't know. I
Maybe
feel like some more of that again.
maybe a comedy horror.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because I was
Yeah.
just thinking that, but as far as I've read into it, it's not that popular, comedy horror.
Yeah, it's a weird one to
So,
yeah.
if I make something, I don't want it to like just sit on a shelf kind of
Right.
thing, but
Right.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That's a
But
thought. But
the thing of it is, like you said, I mean, yeah, the world's dark and stuff and all that. But for some people like me and probably horror movies are a little bit of they're still an escape. And just because I'm not
yeah,
laughing so much, it's still an escape from the real world. And
right.
so
Yeah,
good
that's
entertainment.
true.
Good
You're
entertainment puts a
right.
smile on your face, whether you're laughing or going,
Yeah,
which I
exactly.
did
And
a
that's
couple
the
times.
feeling. The adrenaline rush, right? That's what you
Yes.
like. It's like, oh,
Yes.
it is. Yeah.
yeah.
Which you
Mhm.
did several times throughout the movie.
Mhm.
Several times.
I'm sure some things made you wince.
My wife
Look
is
at you. I love it so much from the last time is you're like, now that you know that we've seen it, you're just like the ones that that you can make me, that we win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife is notoriously impossible to make jump, and I do know she jumped once or twice during the movie. So she
Oh,
never. We'll watch
Yeah.
these horror movies, and she's just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening?
Oh,
But
Well, one of
you
the
got
things
her a
that
couple times.
I'm sorry. Yeah, one of the things that impressed me was from the low budget and the kills and the makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you accomplish what you did
Mhm.
on a low budget was,
Yeah.
to me, kudos to whoever. Which
Thank you.
was that
Well,
Jake, right? Was he the mastermind behind it all?
Jake.
Jake and
Oh,
Eric, Jake Porthos and Eric
Oh,
Yoder.
Vince. Are you talking about the
Oh,
practical effects, right? That
well,
stuff?
that's what I'm trying to get at. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
So Vince, and I'll butcher his last name,
Okay.
Guastini. Anyway, I got really lucky because Vince now is like a big, huge, like he does the biggest, like big blockbuster movies now.
Oh wow.
But I worked on Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror,
Right.
and he did as well. And that was kind of in the beginning of both of our careers. And he did that movie, and we stayed in contact all these years. Like that was like 17, 20 years ago, however long ago it was. And I called him and he said, "Don't worry, Brandy, I'll take care of you." And so we did our deal, and I had my friend, he came out and did my movie. Like he didn't have to do my little tiny budget movie, and he did. So that was great, which is why the practical effects they were top notch,
Yeah.
They were
and
each
his
one of
team.
them.
Yeah.
From the first kill to the last. They
Yeah.
were, every time I watch, I'm like, is this really low budget? Really?
I know, right?
Or is this real? No.
I had all high budget people, it's like I've been in the business for 25 years now. So I had a lot of people that I was able to bring in, even, like that fight scene. Art Camacho
Oh,
does
sure.
huge blockbuster films, as far as, doing stunt coordination, and he came and did my movie. And you would never see a scene like that in a low budget movie, typically,
Yeah.
that kind of fight scene. And so I got really lucky with that too. Called in a lot of favors.
Okay, so let's touch on that fight scene, because that was one of my cringe moments with the into the cinder block.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Yep.
so real.
I know.
I'm like, wait, They really did slam the cinder block. What's going on? How did they do that?
No, he knows what he's doing. I mean, he just
Wow.
angles, the camera angles, because he's also a director too. He now directs, but so he knows exactly where to put the camera, how to
Hmm.
angle the guys, what to do, and yeah, every part of that scene was intense. It was great.
It was for, and
Yeah.
again, I can't prompt enough for, low budget and how much it felt like a big budget movie when you're watching it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yes, yes.
Um,
Nice.
I'm still in my head that cinder block. Okay, so I've been wanting to get it out of my head. I really have.
I could tell you were just itching for that one.
I wanted to, but I did not want to forget it because it takes a lot to get me. So good for you. So, and again, we talked about it early on. So we're trying to dance around the twists and the ending and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Which for anybody listening,
Stop now and go watch.
just go right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that right now, but wow, that's where the difficulty is right now because of how what a great job you did with the twist. I mean, it was not once, it was not twice, it was many twists, and
Yeah.
we said it earlier, we had different twists.
Yeah. So
So-
you were thinking, so one of you was thinking someone was the killer or whatever is happening, and then the other one was thinking it was someone else or
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
to that,
okay.
yeah. How some of the characters ended up in the movie is
right.
kind of where, yeah, some of the twists that I thought some characters would go in a different direction. And
Uh-huh.
so I don't want to say too
Yeah,
much.
Look at us dance. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
So you okay, let's go back to Aunt Margaret. So I actually had an Aunt Margaret who I
Oh, wow.
adored and loved.
Yeah.
And she was
probably not anymore.
such a sweet lady. So when I heard it, I'm like, oh, but I cannot. I mean, some of her scenes, she was so calm, and her singing just
know.
drew you in. And
Yeah.
no disrespect, but she was my favorite character.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and she should be. I mean, she was amazing. Even that when she sings Go
Yes.
Tell on the Mountain. That was all her. She thought in the moment of the scene,
Really?
she just started singing that.
That's awesome.
So we were like, yes, keep it. And then what we did was because we loved it so much, we had her sing it separately into the mic. So then we used it and added more and used it throughout the movie in certain scenes
Yeah.
because we loved it so much. So yeah,
She
that
must-
was a great discovery.
Must have been nice having her on set, a seasoned veteran actress, your first time directing, somebody who you probably didn't have to move her around much, she kind of knew what she was doing. You just said go and she did it.
Seasoned pro, showed up, prepared, ready to work. And, and I learned this from Richard Shankman, who was my screenwriter and producer. There was another character, and in the auditions, I really liked a different character.
Okay.
And because this particular person was kind of crazy in real life, like nutty and like was just then did the audition and was nutty. And I was like, oh, I really like this guy is really nutty. And Richard said, Brande, you cannot do that. He said, you have to hire seasoned professional actors because when you're doing a low budget movie, you get 1 or 2 takes.
Oh,
And that's all you get. You get 1 take and then 1 for safety. You can't be hiring like people that could possibly be going off the rails and, who knows, just because you think they're crazy or whatever. They might be crazy in real life and then you won't get the shot. So I learned a valuable lesson from him because everyone we had on set was seasoned, were professional, they've done this before, and every single one of them came prepared, had their lines memorized and got it in the first 2 takes.
yeah.
So
okay.
that was a big lesson. So I was so glad I listened to that advice from him. So
Yeah, that's got to be even more difficult in a movie where that's so high intensity, and there's some scenes that are just, big and to have to get them in one try or two tries, it's got a lot of pressure to so
Well, yeah. Plus, the other thing, which if there's any filmmakers out there that are trying to get their film made, don't ever save your biggest scene for last. Because we did that, and
Okay.
it was the last day. We only had so much time. We had to get it before the sun came up, and we were doing this huge scene, and I was like freaking out. We had to like hurry up and get this and this angle. Oh my God. And thankfully we got it done. I mean, we were shooting right as the sun was out, and it was like, oh my gosh. But that was dumb. I learned that lesson. If it's such a huge important scene, I'll shoot that more towards the beginning or the middle, not the
Okay.
last day.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We
that's
felt very
interesting.
rushed.
So you don't have
Yeah.
to shoot in sequence.
Yeah, it's interesting because do you have to pick some scenes that people get a chance to get their feet under them to film early, to really get into the roles, and so you don't want to make like the big scene, you don't want to film it the first day, right? Because
Right. No, definitely not the first day either.
yeah. So it's where do
Yeah.
you put it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely we were smart enough to at least do the fight scene in the middle, because
Sure.
that took days, not days to shoot it, but the guys had to rehearse.
Yeah.
They took 2 days actually to rehearse, and then we shot it on the one day. But yeah, that we were smart enough to do that part.
So is his name really Texas? Is his first name really Texas?
Yeah. It really
Texas
is.
Battle.
And
That's
Texas
from
Battle.
Texas. He's from Texas. Yeah.
Okay, well-
Yep.
Kudos to his parents. He did a great job. He and in the fight scene, both of them did.
And I know. And Texas, he
And-
is again very seasoned actor. He's been in a ton of horror movies. He was in Wrong Turn, Final Destination,
Oh.
so we knew like horror fans would know and like him.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he was great. Amazing.
As was Casey King, who plays Joe, and
Yeah.
just
Crazy.
obviously a heartthrob, nice to look at as well.
I told him, I said, this movie's going to make you a star. I
Yeah.
was like, when people see you, he's got that it factor, and I just think that this is going to be a real good breakout role for him.
Yeah.
Well, let's touch on, because your characters, even the main characters and even the side characters were very interesting.
Mhm.
So you had the
Yeah.
group of friends coming up out of nowhere, and Roger. I mean, Roger was a character, and that
Roger
actor,
was so good.
wow, he played it up as
Oh
he
my
should.
God.
And I forget
He's
his name.
So good.
Yeah, but what a great job he did.
Schlesinger. His real name's Chris Schlesinger, and he
Okay.
actually is also an acting coach.
Oh.
Which it just shows that he's that good.
Right.
But yeah, he was so good. He's a star too. He should be doing more stuff.
Yeah.
He should. And in his scenes with Joe,
Mhm.
Roger and Joe together, again, back to the dark, and just wow, we didn't see a lot of that
know.
coming from
I
you.
know. Yeah.
But it played well throughout the thing. You're like, I get it. It make everything, every twist and turn and every thing made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to know, when we talked to you a year ago, you mentioned that your son, the big struggle you had with the movie was mom's kissing scene. Is he fully recovered from the kissing scene yet?
He's finally recovered, I think. But yeah, he was not
Until the
did
next one.
not like that at all. But
He gets it was acting now. He's like, okay, we're all good. This is
No.
yeah, he
No.
still, even if it's acting, still didn't like it,
So how many
even,
takes did you have to do of that he had to walk in? I'm
just
guessing.
one,
Okay, so that's
just
his-
one.
nailed
Genuine.
it.
So that's
Yeah.
his genuine reaction, which is genuine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually we did second takes, for safety, but I don't recall doing two on that one. I mean, it's possible we might have, just to have that safety in the bag, but I just remember doing it once. But
I'm sure he would remember if he had to do it twice.
yeah, I should ask him.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
but I mean, either way, as an actor, if I was Joe or your character, I'd have said, let's do it again. Because both pretty odd. Anyway.
Yeah, well, he had to make out with everybody, man. Oh my God.
That's true. He was a busy guy.
And it's so funny because we had the premiere and his parents came, his brother, his
Okay.
wife. And I was like, I was cringing thinking about what they're thinking. And afterwards, I was like, are you mad at me? I'm sorry. And they're like, no, it was great. We loved it. And I was like, please tell me you warned your parents. And he's like, yes, I warned them. Because
Okay.
it's their mom and dad. You don't know
Right.
how they're going to react to a movie like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Whew.
But I want to talk this kudos. I really appreciated your as a director introduction into the movie with the driving scene and the music. Did you have any say in the first song that she was singing as she was driving along? That was
Oh
perfect.
yeah. Yep. So I contacted a music supervisor and I sent her the scenes and told her what the feel that we were looking for was. And she sent over a bunch of stuff. And Richard and I went back and forth on all the songs. And thankfully, we both loved and agreed on all of them. The one thing though that for me, I had to have was the end song.
Okay. That was my
Rising
next
Sun.
question.
Yeah, so Rising Sun, the original was the Animals, but House of the Rising Sun, I just felt like it really depicted the mood, at the end and the lyrics and then the sun rising above the barn. So that was like something I really wanted. So she found me a version, that they didn't do,
Mhm.
that someone else did. And it was, it was like more creepy and eerie, right? So that was something that was really important. I had to have that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
It fits. It was a perfect choice.
It was a
Yeah.
perfect ending, and
Yeah.
that was literally going to be my next question about your ending song and how long it took you to find the perfect song. But it sounds like you knew it right away.
Yeah, that one I had already known I wanted. And then the other ones were just all the other, I think there was 5 other songs were songs that she had sent that, we just picked from the list. And I feel like they all worked good for those scenes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Is there any thought of like a novel form of the movie?
A what form?
Like a novel, like turning it actually, like the reverse of
graphic novel.
oh yeah. Or just a novel version. Yeah.
Oh,
No, I never thought about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I don't remember. I feel like I just saw a movie that I watched and they did that with where they went backward and I
that's
can't think of what it was.
interesting.
which
Huh.
if you did that, then you could do a backstory, and then you could
Yeah,
the
right.
characters
the
go everywhere with the
prequel.
characters.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Because it is such an elaborate, well-told story. And,
Mhm.
I mean, to read, I mean, I'm sure it would be a good read. So,
Yeah.
Or even a graphic novel too.
yeah, that seems to be the thing these days.
It's
The
the
graphic
thing
novel.
nowadays.
Wait. What's a graphic novel?
Well, it's like an adult comic book. So
Okay.
it's comic books are thin and they just have the powwows
Yeah.
and stuff. But The Walking Dead was like a graphic novel where
Oh,
they told a story more in depth, but they
Through
okay.
pictures
but
and
And then
through
they
dialogue.
have
pictures
the
as well.
images. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all dialogue. There's very little scene
Right.
setting or anything
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
So it's more like the dialogues back with the bubbles and
Yep. Yep. So
okay.
it's all picture. Yeah.
But it's
Huh,
huge,
cool.
yeah, and that's where Walking Dead came from. A lot of the Batman transformed to The Dark Knight was a graphic
Mhm.
novel before they put that portion
Oh,
into the
okay.
movies and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
it'd be cool, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is scaring you these days? What have you watched any horror besides Wineville? Have you watched anything good that's
Well, I feel like for the past 3 years, that's all I've been watching is horror films. And, it's funny because Robert, he'll be like, another one. Like he knows, like he'll have to say, no, I'm not watching a horror movie tonight. And I'll be like, oh man. But I'm trying to think what I've seen. I know there's been some good stuff recently, but I will say I'm super excited to see Joker. I'm super excited to see Smile. And there was another horror one coming out. What
Hmm.
is it, guys? There's another good one coming out.
Well, Terrifier 3 is right around the corner.
Oh yeah, Terrifier 3. However, if you can believe it, I've never seen 1 or 2 yet. And I have
Oh,
to, because I'm friends with the creators.
okay.
And so now I have to see, I need to
have
see
to.
it. I need to see it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. This for sure. I'll do that this weekend.
The
So-
first Terrifier quickly turned in. Quickly made it into the top 3 of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Wow.
I
Really?
think the first one is so terrific, and
Yeah.
again, such a tiny little budget, and just so
Yeah.
well acted, and just what a horror movie is supposed to be. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
So in the
Oh,
last
great.
couple of years, there's been that trilogy with X,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and then
Yes.
Maxine and Pearl.
Maxine and Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pearl. So
Have you
that's
seen those 3?
the one. So so I liked X because when
Yes.
it came when we just had finished my movie, and I was like, wait, it's very similar to my movie. Like there's the creepy
The
lady.
wards are all
There's,
different.
70s.
I
Yeah,
was
they're
like,
all
this
70s.
is weird. But I liked that. I did not care for Pearl in the least. I
Okay.
thought I did not care for that. But I really liked Maxine.
Hmm.
So and again, I don't know if it's that nostalgic thing, because it was the 80s and
Yeah.
and her going to try to be an actress, the whole thing.
Yeah,
I really liked Maxine.
I haven't seen
So
Maxine yet. I've seen Pearl and X, but I haven't seen Maxine yet. So.
Okay. I and I made it a
Mhm.
point because I saw the X in theater. I saw all 3 in the theater, and I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
by myself. I'm like, I want to see this trilogy
Yeah.
in the theater, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I really enjoyed X,
Uh-huh.
Maxine, Pearl.
Yeah.
When you went, but
yeah.
but it wasn't like what I appreciated wasn't like it after Pearl. It was Maxine was even worse. You know what I mean? So they brought it
Yeah.
back. So
Right.
the whole
right.
storyline was. I appreciated the whole way they did
Yeah.
it.
How it all intertwined.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was,
and she did an amazing job because it was the same actress through the whole thing.
right.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone was intriguing to me just to watch her
Mhm.
Play all those
the
parts.
different characters, even the grandmother. I mean, she played
I know.
her
She's so
young
good.
daughter
I know.
and the grandmother. It was that to me was worth the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of horror lately.
It's
It's just
October, you gotta.
Yeah, it's like, well, even all summer long we watched a lot of horror movies. So Jen just went back and watched old stuff, and there's so much
Yeah.
out there now that, like, with all the streaming capabilities, you go on Hulu and they just have a page full of horror movies, and you just
Well, you know what I just watched, and I don't know if this is, I guess it's not considered horror as it is maybe thriller. But see, my big thing is I love serial killer movies. That's my jam. And I rewatched because I remember I really liked it before, was The Pledge with Jack Nicholson
Okay.
and Robin Wright Penn. I don't know if you guys ever saw that or not.
Yeah.
The ending's a little disappointing, but it was pretty good. I watched that again recently.
yeah.
What have you guys seen recently that
I just
you-
watched, and he borrowed me the movie quite a long time ago, and I never watched it. And I finally watched Bone Tomahawk, which is like kind of a Western horror with Kurt Russell.
Oh,
And it's-
Bone
oh.
Tomahawk?
Bone Tomahawk, yeah. And I don't know if it's horror per se,
Yeah.
but
they're mixing
Like
genres,
thriller.
but it's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
yeah, it's really well. I mean, if I love Westerns, and,
Yeah, I
and
do too. I'm gonna
Kurt
write that
Russell in
down.
a Western is, I mean, they're
But-
not.
But it would, and again, I don't want to say a twist, but it was just it's not your normal Western.
No, it's not. No, it's not your normal Western. It's not your normal horror.
But I
It's-
said, I think you'd like it. And then he ignored me. And then he finally, hey, look, I fucking watched it. I really like it.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see Sinister?
I
have,
Did that
yeah.
one ring a bell?
I think
Okay, you
so.
did, but you
I'm trying to think if I've seen it or not.
I
Well,
yeah, I
maybe-
have Ethan Hawke. I like
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
I do too. That's why I'm wondering if I've seen it, because I do love
well,
Ethan
if
Hawke.
you haven't, you should see it. You should
I-
watch that one.
Right when
yeah.
he finds the films, and then he starts watching them by
Yes.
himself, and
Yeah, I
Yep.
think I have seen that.
and then he,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But
Well, there
I-
was a second one too, but the first one was the better one.
okay.
Oh, the second was better.
Yeah. Hey,
I don't-
remember Super 8?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that I saw the second Sinister. Now that you say that,
Was
I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure there was 2 of them.
oh, probably, but
Pretty
okay.
sure.
But yeah, I was gonna say, is there Wineville 2 in the world? I mean, horror movies always have a sequel.
Well, I was thinking if we did do something that with this one, I think a prequel
Yeah.
might be more interesting.
Yeah, that makes
Oh.
sense. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense
Um,
for your flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really be able to
'Cause you
dive
already-
in just
you
how
already know the
traumatic it
character.
was.
Yeah, and you already know the characters, and you could also show, what Edmund, what kind of life he had and what he was doing,
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
Well, we got to give a shout out to because he was disturbing to watch.
Yeah.
Meaning the act, what, Will
Yeah,
Roberts.
Will Roberts. Yeah.
Yeah, he and he's been around, but boy, he's did
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah, and that's got to
Yeah.
be hard acting to do to play that character and
Knowing you're going to be hated.
yeah, to just play that creepy. Yeah, so
You know
difficult.
what? And he owned it. He was like, yeah, no big deal, and goes in and does it. And, afterwards, laughing and, like he was a pro. He was just, he went
Yeah.
in and did what he needed to do.
Wow.
So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Brandy. We like I said at the beginning, I really
Yes.
felt like we took this journey with you because of the
Yeah.
timing of your appearances on the podcast. It was cool to see this whole thing come to life and now be able to see it and it turned out so terrific and we're glad that we're along for the ride.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you guys were too. Now just everybody go out and watch it.
Where
Now that you know how good it is.
where can they watch it? Because
Pretty much anywhere. Amazon Prime, Apple, Google Play, any of your cable networks where you can rent movies or purchase movies. Also, what we did, which is really cool, is we made practicals. So we have a DVD.
Oh,
And on the DVD is like bonus features where we have auditions. Yes, you get to watch it.
where can I get that? Where can I get that? Fuck streaming. I want that.
Yes, so you could get that on winevillemovie.com and you get it autographed by myself and Keaton because we're both on the cover. But yeah, that's going to have all the behind the scenes, the character interviews, the auditions. So that's going to be really fun. And then what I'm doing is also anyone that tags me a picture of either them watching the movie with a glass of wine, or if they don't want to be in a picture or do anything like that, they can tag proof that they did a review for me.
Okay.
And then I'll shout them out on my social media.
Nice.
So it's kind of a fun thing for fans if they want to get shouted out, that I'm doing that for them. If they, go and watch the movie and write a review for me.
awesome.
Well, that's so fun, and that's not new. I mean that's something unusual. So it's awesome. I'm gonna want to shout out. So I want to do that.
There
I
you
figured you
go.
would. And he's also gonna probably buy you out of DVDs. So
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I love that extra shit. I'm buying it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
thank you so much. We
Well,
I don't know how
thanks,
we can say
guys.
thank you enough to you. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's always good to see you guys. Let's cheers it out.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.